Yeah, if we have this opportunity and this privilege and the resources to work remotely and to go experience these other places, like it's just so special. It's so nice. And like, I think probably like for you, I have, and I said this last time, like I have really amazing clients who are just so flexible and kind. They could be annoyed and be like, oh my God, you're changing your schedule again, you know?
Hi, I'm Kim Tolson and I'm the traveling therapist. It's my passion to teach therapists how to navigate online private practices and multiple income streams so they can travel the world. I'm a digital nomad with a virtual insurance-based private therapy practice and a multi-six-figure coaching business. I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship and developing tools that can help therapists live an adventurous lifestyle. In this podcast, I will discuss my journey as a digital nomad. I'll chat with other traveling therapists and help you navigate the complexities of running an online insurance-based practice. I'm so glad to have you with me on this journey. Building a private practice can be challenging. I know for me, when I was starting out, I had no idea how to get referrals. I had no idea how to manage paperwork. I knew nothing about insurance billing. The whole process was really daunting. Building a private practice can be challenging to say the least. I remember when I was starting out, I had no idea how to get referrals. I had no idea how to navigate insurance. I had no idea even what paperwork was required. So growing a caseload, navigating insurance, and managing billing and paperwork all take significant amounts of time. And that's all in addition to delivering great care to your clients. That's why Alma gives clinicians the tools they need to build a thriving private practice. When you join their insurance program, you can get credentialed within 45 days and access to enhanced reimbursement rates. They also handle all the paperwork from eligibility checks to claim submissions, and they guarantee payment within 2 weeks of each appointment. So in addition to their insurance program, Alma also offers time-saving tools and administrative support, so you can spend less time on paperwork and more time delivering great care to your clients and traveling the world. Learn more about building a thriving private practice with Alma at helloalma.com/Kim. That's hello, ALMA.com/KYM to get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Traveling Therapist Podcast. I'm here again with Christina Kantzavelos. This is her second appearance here on the show. I love having her. She's got so much cool information. Last time she was on, I was like, we have to have you back again just to talk about some other things. So she's back again, super excited. Before we hit record, we were talking about Mercury retrograde. And then both of our tech is not working. So, and digital nomad life, I'm sitting in an Airbnb, but it's like overlooking the pool deck and there's like Zumba music playing in the background. So this is going to be an interesting episode if we even get through it.
Yes, yes, yes. It took us 30 minutes to just get to this point.
Yes,
So
it did.
yay,
Well,
I'm so happy to be back.
I'm so glad to have you back. There's so much fun stuff to talk to you about, but the thing I really want to talk about today is the Camino de Santiago. I really don't even know anything much about it except for that you did it, and I know people do it. It's like a pilgrimage that people go on. So I'd love to talk about it because people have messaged me before and they've asked questions like, what if I want to go do something like this pilgrimage? How do I take time off? How do I not be a traveling therapist and all of that? So I thought it'd be fun to, one, just talk about it, two, talk about your specific journey with it and just, everything that came out of it. Because it sounds like after you did it, you had sort of an awakening yourself.
Yes, definitely. I decided to go on it in 2000. It was 2015, and I was at a hospital. And I had one friend who had done it in 2010, and it was life-changing for him. And so it was already on my list. And then I watched a movie called The Way, which I highly recommend to everyone. It's with Martin Sheen and his son. I always forget his son's name.
Oh, Emilio Estevez.
Emilio Estevez, yeah. And
Okay.
they've done it multiple times. So that's why they made this film. Yeah. So it's a Catholic pilgrimage, though you don't have to be Catholic. Most people I met, at least on it, were doing it more for like spiritual reasons, for, spiritual growth and personal growth and just as a goal for themselves. So there are many paths to take. So it's a pilgrimage, but you can take so many different paths. I did the most popular one, which is called the Camino Frances. which starts in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, and then you you hike over the Pyrenees, no big deal, into Spain, and then you keep walking. So that one's 500 miles or 800 kilometers, but there's some that are much shorter. Like we were just discussing the Camino Portugues. That's the one I'd love to do next. That one is only, yes, I say only 200 kilometers, which would take you roughly on average about 2 weeks to complete versus the one I did, I believe took me 32 days. So, yeah, I was working at a hospital at the time and I was pretty unhappy just with social work in general. And I was so happy that I had a manager who let me take this amount of time off. But being there, I started writing. I realized my affinity for travel writing. I realized that there is not much writing around traveling with celiac disease, which is what I
Yes.
started focusing on. So as I was writing, I received such positive feedback about, just what I was coming up with. And eventually that's when I started my own publication called BuenQamino, which is a common saying said to pilgrims on the Camino. It means like to wish you a good path. So throughout the Camino, when you're walking or hiking, you'll hear people say Buen Camino, Buen Camino, Buen Camino. I loved it. It's so heartfelt. It's so
Oh,
lovely. So that's what I named my website, my blog, my publication, and I used Q instead of C because, the C was taken. So I
yeah.
continued to write after that. But my point is like it was so life-changing. And yes, you can work while you do it. And yes, you can take time off. So I'm happy to answer any of those
Yeah.
questions. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. Yeah, because before we hit record, I was like, okay, when I was in Portugal, we went to Fatima or Fatima, I don't know how you pronounce it, but we went there and it's the site of a miracle, basically, that, three nuns saw the Lord or whatever. So they put a church there and it's an amazing place. There was like these ovens basically all over the place, pyres, I guess you call them, and they had all these wax body parts, which I know sounds so weird, but it was like basically you would pray, you would buy one of the wax body parts that correlated with where you were having pain in your body, and you'd buy it and you take it to the pyre and you basically throw it in. You say this prayer and they've got people like blessing you through the lines and everything, and you throw it in and you burn it, and it's supposed to help heal that part of your body. But while I was there, I don't, I'm so bad with the stuff, but the altar, I guess, to walk to the front of the church was like super long, this red carpet all through this town, and all these people were on their knees, like just like on their knees going down this thing, and it would probably take them 4 hours just to go down this thing on their knees. And I was like, what is going on here? And then somebody explained to me that this was part of that pilgrimage that people do, and I guess there's different routes, like you said, but this was one of them. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard. Like I really have always wanted to talk to somebody that actually did it, not necessarily through the Fatima way, but just did it in general, just to hear like what was it like? Do you spend the night in hospitals? Do you sleep on the road? Like I just want to know all of it, really, the logistics of it. If we could just like, can we start from where you started and just kind of like
Sure, sure,
Google it?
sure. Sure.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, I can't, so that one we looked it up, right? It's part of the Camino Portugues. And throughout this pilgrimage, the whole point is that you go through, it's a path through so many different churches, so many different villages, very few big cities, if you will. But the big cities are important for those of us with celiac, because that's where I would get my
Yeah.
back then, right? Like Char was your only option, and God bless Char because it's a famous European gluten-free brand. But anytime I was in a big city, I'm like stocking up on baguettes and so forth. So, where do you stay? The most popular places, or one of the most popular places to stay, would be an albergue, which is essentially a hostel, generally like bunk beds set up where you go, you arrive there, you choose your place, you arrive there. It can vary anywhere. I remember paying like 10 euros, and that included a meal, a place to stay, something for breakfast. Whether you could eat the meal is a different story with allergy, if you have like yeah, allergies or food restrictions, and then you would be on your way. Now, there were like back then, like I was using booking.com to sometimes get myself like a private bedroom. Sometimes you just want a
Yeah.
private bedroom where you don't have people snoring or smelling funky. And
Yeah.
that could also vary from anywhere from like 20 euros and up. And then sometimes you find like hotels, or it's whatever you're seeking or looking for. As it gets more popular, or when you go during a really popular time, it can be harder to find the exact place you're looking for, in which case you would want to book in advance. But what's difficult about that is you're carrying your backpack on you, unless you use a backpack service. We'll get into that. But
Okay.
if you like, let's just say you're like, I have it in me to complete 20 kilometers today. And then you get to like the 10th kilometer, the 15th kilometer, and you're like, wow, I'm exhausted, right? And I booked a place 20 kilometers away. You're gonna have to then find transportation to get you to that next spot, which can be inconvenient sometimes, maybe not. So, these are the pros and cons of pre-planning versus going with the flow. Because going with the
Yeah.
flow, so you don't sometimes get what you want, but you complete what you can. And I was back to the backpacks. There's like various backpack services where you can
Oh,
pay a company to bring your backpack to the location you desire so that you're not carrying it. For those with like any back problems or weaknesses or so forth, like this is an option. I used it multiple times.
yeah.
Again, there was a con though with the, oh man, like I could go a lot further than this, but now I have this heavy backpack that I have to carry. So I'm gonna stay here. Also blisters, right? Sometimes I got a lot of blisters and that would keep me from going far or end up keeping me for days in one spot. So if I booked in advance, I'm like, I physically cannot get to that location because my blisters. So I need to stay
Yeah.
put. So anyway,
It's so interesting. Yeah, because in my mind, it feels like it would have to be like an organic thing. Like it just feels like it'd be super hard to plan, like you're saying, blisters, backpack, food. I'm exhausted, Like, I mean, hopefully you can cancel something, but yeah, that just seems like, I don't know. To me, it seems like for it to be authentic or something, it has to be like totally organic in my mind. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many ways to do it now. There's like even tour companies doing like very, very, very bespoke like tours for people and for groups where they're like, for the next 10 days, this is what you have to do. And I can't remember, like to get your certificate of completion, I want to
Yeah.
say you have to complete like 150 kilometers or 100, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of the tours will like start right at that point so that
Yeah.
you only have to complete the smallest amount, or it's, especially for people who don't have much time off from work and want to experience the Camino. Like what I will say is there's no like wrong way to do
Yeah.
it. It's the way that feels best for you, that makes the most sense or aligns with like your schedule, your body, your physicality, like what
Yeah.
you are capable of doing. So yeah, it just depends. Now, for those, wanting to work at the same time, like what I witnessed while I was doing it is people would like pick a town and just stay there for a few days, like get a private
Yeah.
room where they could like do their work, or some of them don't need to be in a HIPAA compliant space. So it doesn't matter to them. They could just go to a coffee shop and it's fine. But regardless, they would stick to like one place for, a handful of days so they could just work and focus on that and probably not walk on the same day because you're walking so much and you are brutally exhausted by the end of the day
Oh,
and sometimes
wow.
in pain, frankly. So if you are planning to see clients during this, I would separate the two out as much as you possibly can. And the other thing I want to mention is because people are like, well, how, a lot of people ask like, well, like how often do you find an albergue or a next place to stay or a place to eat? And
Yeah.
usually it's like anywhere between like 1 to 5 kilometers, there's like a next town. So like there's always a
Wow.
place to eat or use the restroom. Like I didn't have to go into nature once to use the restroom, which,
Yeah.
gives you an idea of how close each town is.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I really like that you're saying that you can just do it at your own pace, however you want to do it. It sounds like it's really more about just the journey and wanting to have like I guess a spiritual experience for people. That's really what draws people to it, right?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I met quite a few like devout Catholics where like for them it was imperative to stop at every church and pray. Like
Oh,
some people went on like a true like mission for themselves, for God, for whatever they were seeking. And then there was people who did it just for like the athletic challenge. I mean, I met a woman in her, I think she was like 88 at the time, and she was just going at her pace. She's like, I walk as slow. She's like, I'm as slow as a snail, but I am going to complete this. And she only did like, I think it was like 5-ish kilometers a day for her. that's what she was doing. And she would just, stay at the next place and go. And it was interesting too, because I started on the same day, obviously, as a bunch of people, and we ate dinner together. And some of them were fast. We're talking like marathon fast. But then like so many days
Wow.
later, I would see them in a town and I'm like, wait up, you were so fast. And they're like, and they would show me their blisters, right? So they say like you either slow down for the Camino or the Camino slows you down, which is why it's back to like if you have the freedom and resources to go at the pace you are meant to, like I'm going to recommend that wholeheartedly to
Yeah.
anyone. Yeah.
Wow.
And like people have like just breakthroughs when they're doing this. Like oh my gosh, I had one of my best friends now realize that her 8-year relationship wasn't what she wanted to be in, broke it off
Wow.
mid Camino, ended up marrying the guy we all met the same day, met that same
Are
day.
you serious? I just got
Yes.
goosebumps.
I
Like,
know.
are you
They're
serious?
living in Amsterdam. She's just the most beautiful human being ever. Like, I just want to point
Wow.
out, like, I witnessed people quit their jobs during the Camino, like, just have these amazing. I do wonder if it's because you have this time to yourself to really think about life, think about
Yeah.
what you want, what you don't want, what's in alignment, what's not. And that happened to me. I'm like, I don't want to do conventional social work. I want to, follow my dream, follow my path, do what makes me, happiest. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it took a while to get there after, right? Just because you have these epiphanies doesn't mean,
You're gonna
you're
act
able.
on them. You're gonna like quit your job in the middle of it or anything like that. Yeah.
No, no, couldn't exactly do that. But at least it put me on a path towards where I wanted to be.
That's amazing. So what is the story behind the Camino? Do you know like the history of it? I mean, why is it there? Why do people do this? Is it just like an ancient like pilgrimage that people used to do? Or I don't even know the story behind it at all.
Yeah, it's for Saint James, his ruins are, or where I think his boat was said to crash was in Finisterre, which is
Okay.
at the very end, like I was saying. So the Camino, every route of the Camino ends in Santiago de Compostela, but then
Hmm.
you can walk an additional 3 or so days to Finisterre, which is at the very edge. Finisterre meaning like literally translation is end of earth. So,
Wow.
right, because that's what it looked like, right? You're at the end of the Iberian Peninsula and you can't see across the Pacific Ocean to North America. As far as you can tell, it is the end of the earth. So that is where his remains were said to be. And so that's why the shell represents the Camino as well, because
Hmm.
I guess there were a lot of shells, something like that and there still are right there. But I believe his remains, if I'm not mistaken, are in like in the church in Santiago de Compostela. So it's a pilgrimage to St. James.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, 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 yeah.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So even if you're not religious and doing it, it just sounds like just the process of walking this path that so many other people have walked is just a spiritual experience in itself, I guess. I would
Yes,
think.
yes, exactly,
Wow.
exactly. It's one of the most, yeah, incredible things I've ever done, which is why I cannot wait to do it again. It's something I recommend to everyone.
So you're already planning to do it again. You just don't know when or do you already know?
So, because last one was about the my panchakarma, which I'm going to be doing 2 more years. That's what's recommended to me. So I have to return back to India, and I'm trying to figure out because I'd like to just take the time off to go do a Camino. So I would ideally like to do it in the fall, but that's when I'm going to go do another panchakarma. So who knows? Maybe I do both, and I just do what I recommended to therapists wanting to work at the same time, which is just take my time, stop in a town for a few days each time to see
Wow.
my clients. Yeah, yeah.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to hear about that when you do it.
Yes. I hope you
Seriously.
get to do it.
Oh my gosh. I always say I'd love to do stuff like that, but I just never do. But all of it, everything you do, actually, I would love to go do because it does seem like it's spiritually awakening and it sounds like it just gives you time to sort of like clear out detox, even the panchakarma, clear out detox, just get like reconnected to your body, which I mean traveling like this all the time, being on technology all the time, it's kind of exhausting.
It is. That's what we were talking. We're like, it's not all rainbows and
It's
butterflies sometimes.
not. It's really not. I mean, we're in an Airbnb, but every single one is like so unpredictable. Like I said, this one's on the pool. It smells, there's some cigarette smell. I don't even know where the cigarettes are coming from. It's like just seeping into the house.
You're
It's
in the
just,
Dominican, right?
yes, yeah, the
Okay.
Dominican Republic right now.
Cigar, I
It,
wonder.
it could be. I don't know, but it's bad. So it's like, on Instagram or whatever, it looks pretty, like all these places, but there are like these realities that are sort of exhausting sometimes. And I just posted a thing on Instagram the other day. I'm trying to start doing like somatic exercises, like incorporating them into my, just regular exercise routine because I feel so dysregulated sometimes, just discombobulated. Like we were trying to get this technology to work. I'm like, I don't even know what time it is. My computer set to Eastern. It's actually Atlantic time here in the Dominican Republic. And I'm just always discombobulated. So all that to say, I just love this idea of just like these cleansing sort of pilgrimages and making time for them. And I just admire you so much for even trying to do them or wanting to do them.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yeah, I feel like it's just sort of a part of my lifestyle at this point to find these like people are like, you're just so eat, pray, love. I'm like, I think that I really just, I want to feel good in my body and in my spirit and my energies. And I'm very drawn to all of these types of things, these rejuvenating yet very challenging detoxing activities, if you will. And I always gain and gather so much. I mean, I feel like that happens even if when I just travel in general, like even
Yeah.
with all the technological challenges and issues, like I would not trade my lifestyle. And I don't, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you would either for
Oh,
just
definitely not.
sitting in one spot personally in the US. Like that to me, like makes me cringe so
Oh,
much more than having to deal with like the time changes and
I totally
the,
agree. I mean, I will admit the other day we were like, everything just feels a little easier in the United States, than like maybe down in the Dominican Republic where, it's harder to get groceries. It's harder to get transportation. It's harder to communicate, obviously, because I don't speak Spanish fluently or anything like that. It's a little bit harder. So sometimes I do get that thing like, God, maybe we should just go back to the United States for a little while and chill. But then, like you said, it's like, why would I want to do that? That sounds so boring and awful. There's just so many other places to go and see.
I know, I know. I mean, sometimes like you can, and then you get the impetus to get out again. Like that's what happens. That's what kind
Yeah.
of happens to me. It's just, yeah, if we have this opportunity and this privilege and the resources to work remotely and to go experience these other places, like it's just so special. It's so nice. And like, I think probably like for you, and I said this last time, like I have really amazing clients who are just so flexible and
Yeah.
kind because they could be annoyed and be like, oh my God, you're changing your schedule again, because
I know.
to constantly if we
Right.
depending on where we're moving to, right?
I do, like India and Asia and all of
Oh,
that. Yeah.
oh
Wow.
my gosh, yeah. And like going, I plan to move to Europe this year and that's 9 hours ahead. So everyone's gonna have to be on, AM morning time. And it's risky as a therapist when we're toggling and doing that. So, now at this point when I get someone new, I have to preface my practice is set up this way. And if that's not an alignment for you, which is more than okay, like I'm happy to give you resources to other therapists. But it goes both ways. Like I'm very flexible with them. So
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I don't know if I'm just burned out or what, but I mean, I think even since last time we talked, I decided to end a whole membership that I had going, the traveling therapist membership. I just decided I just didn't want to do it anymore. It was just a lot of work and energy. And I think 2024, I'm just like, I'm taking a sabbatical from all my clients. I've decided I'm just telling them I'm not seeing them anymore for a while. I'm going to refer them to other therapists and I'm cutting back my work days and I'm like gonna make significantly less this year on purpose because I'm just tired. And hearing you talk about your pilgrimages and these detoxes, I'm like, I'm in that headspace right now. I feel like I can just burn a lot of things down and then build them back up later when I feel like it.
oh my God, I'm so happy that you are saying this and that you're doing this for other people to hear because we can get burned out from this.
Yes.
We need the time off. Sorry, I know I'm like, what are your plans for the year?
No, yeah, I need to do a whole episode on it because
Like seriously, I think we had 100 members in the membership, and I just was like, it was just starting to feel like this real drain on me a little bit, like having to find an expert every couple of weeks to come in and coordinate that. And my VA is having to make events, and I'm having to show up to the events, and just I would just like told my boyfriend and my business coach, I was like, I'm just tired of it. Like it's fine, it's successful, I'm making money doing it, but I'm just not feeling it anymore. So I'm just not going to do it anymore. So I wrote everybody in the membership a letter and said, I love you guys, but I don't want to do it anymore. you know?
Mm.
So I sort of I've regrouped, and all the content that was in the membership. I also have a traveling therapist course, so I'm putting it all in the course. I'm just going to put it like on this evergreen funnel is what they call it, and just sell the course and not have to be like just like constantly like coming up with new content and showing up all the time. I don't know. I think I'm just burned out or
I
something.
mean, that's a lot of, I mean, I hope you're hearing all the work you're doing. Like that
I
alone is a full-time job. And then like
I
you're living abroad out of these Airbnbs, which is takes a lot of energy. And then you're also seeing clients.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
oh
And I
my
have two
gosh.
other memberships. So, I'm
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I have two other memberships. So I was just like, I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, good for I'm proud of you for recognizing that in yourself and most importantly doing something about it. So does it end this year? Is that
It's already ended. I ended,
oh
I
my
literally like, and anybody listening that was a member, you guys know I sent you the email, but I just like basically over a 2 week period, I was just like, can I just shut this down?
yeah.
All these people, they're paying me. Like, why would you do that if you're successful and you're getting money coming in and people are, benefiting from it? And I just was like, I just don't want to do it anymore. So I don't know. I just decided and I sent out an email and it's done. So
Okay, well, I'm sure you already heard this, but congratulations.
thank
I'm
you.
very proud of you. So, but I'm curious, like, what is your plan for this calendar year then? If you're
Yeah. So I used to always like I worked every day of the week basically. Business was Monday, Friday, and during the week, and then I saw clients on like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. So I basically told all my clients I'm not going to be seeing them anymore unless it's an emergency or I'm going to refer them to another clinician. And then I changed my schedule completely, so I'm no longer booking on Mondays and Fridays at all. So I'm just going to have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's just going to be like businessy stuff for my other memberships and like IG content and all that stuff. And then, Monday, well, yeah, Friday through Monday, I'm just off. I'm just going to be off. I'm just tired. I have enough money. We're happy. I just don't want to work this year.
yes, 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 yes,
I
yes.
know people are probably listening. They're like, okay, nice, nice that you could do that. But I mean, I just have worked my ass off for a long time and I've got money saved. So I'm just taking a break. And
Yeah.
you talk about the pilgrimages and all that. It's like, yes, that I'm really feeling that energy. I need a break.
For us we do radical work as therapists, as social workers, and anyone in the mental health field. It's radical work. It's extremely challenging at times.
Yeah.
And anyone who does radical work needs to meet themselves with radical self-care. And it's to your future clients' benefit, it's to everyone's benefit, it's to the world's benefit that you take good care of yourself because you taking a break gives others permission to do the same. We're in this late stage capitalism where we feel like we must like constantly produce and create and do. And we forget that we're human beings, not human doings. And if you have the opportunity, the privilege, the resources to take good care of yourself and take a break from time to time, like you're doing, I say, hell yeah. Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes, yes. Yes, you worked really hard to get to this point. Like anyone in the mental health field works so hard,
Oh my gosh.
so hard.
Seriously. Yeah. I mean, just God, all the energy we just put into our clients, you know what I mean? Over the years, 20, 30 years now in this field alone, it's just a lot, you know?
It is.
Everything we've been through as therapists with the pandemic and just all of it. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the energy of the universe right now, but I'm just like, break. I want to break.
Good, good, good. And then if and when you decide to come back to mental health, then maybe you don't, maybe you decide on something else, and that's more than okay. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
regardless of what you decide, you're going to show up like from a place of like basically from a full cup,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
where you taking good care of yourself because, you know, we're not meant to be 100% all the time. We too have our, you know, we forget like we too have our seasons. Like we're not above humans as therapists, which I think people presume about us. I don't know if you've ever gotten that idea, but I definitely have. It's like, yeah, I need breaks from time to time. I need to take care of myself from time to time. Like, and so yeah,
Right.
you're being that example to not just clients and people, but especially to therapists, which we need. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think I've been a model for some therapists like multiple income streams and all this stuff, but this is my new model. I even when things are successful, I just gonna burn them down if I don't feel like doing them anymore. That's my new thing. So
Yeah, because it's like, what is success without taking care of yourself?
exactly. Exactly. And that's
That's
what I kind of come to. And I love hearing about the Camino and the bunch of karma and all that. It's like, I when I hear you talk about it, it's almost like a jealousy kind of thing. Is it's like I work so hard, I don't have time for it. So probably someone talking to you too, maybe hearing about the punch of karma and everything, just like made me think, you know what, I just need a break. I don't want to do this anymore.
I'm glad it's encouraging. I mean, I was feeling before the Camino, like I was completely burnt out at my hospital job, you know,
Oh,
like
right.
it's we have to do that. It's not just for ourselves, it's for the people that we are offering our services to because no one wants to come to a burnt out therapist or
Yeah,
social worker. Like that's actually not fair to the people we're serving.
so
It's
true.
not fair. If you have the option, it's not fair. So to come back, I was like, you know, I was more in my knowing, in my understanding, in my flow. It's like I showed up and I'm like, okay, I'm coming at this with a cup full. I can't, or a full cup. I can't exactly leave the job yet, but at least I have a path towards it. And I could just tell there was more pep in my step and everything. And after post Panchakarma too, to my sessions, I'm like,
Hmm.
I have this newfound understanding and wisdom in myself that I then get to guide my clients towards and themselves, which
I love that.
is awesome. So if anyone needs that encouragement or that sign to do this for themselves in any capacity, that could look like even like going on a week-long retreat somewhere. Please do
Oh,
it. Do it. Yeah. I take any excuse to go on retreats,
I
basically.
love it. Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't even know we were going to talk about this, but I'm so glad to just both of us be able to say it out loud to anybody listening. Like, if you're like hearing this and you're like, yes, that's what I need, go do it. Reach out to Christina. She will,
I
she can.
have a list of amazing retreat spots all over the world that I've either had the opportunity to visit or are on my list to visit. And I'm happy to share that with any of y'all if you'd like. The Camino is amazing. It's quite affordable. That's what I'll say. A Panchakarma is quite affordable.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I got to go to a really beautiful one in Costa Rica in February that was also life altering and changing. So
Oh,
that's where I sat with ayahuasca. We
oh
haven't
my
talked
God.
about
Oh,
that,
yeah. We did a whole other episode on
yeah,
iOS.
yeah, that'll be a whole other episode. But yeah, and I have an article coming out soon for Psychology Today on that experience. So yeah, we'll do an episode around it when it's published. Yeah.
How cool is that? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
yes. When that comes out, definitely let me know. That would be really awesome to talk about. Just all of this and just, the fact that you're trying so many different things, I just think is super cool. And I'm grateful that you're willing to come on and talk about it and share it with everybody else so they can realize the stuff's available for them. Yeah.
It is. It is. And, you know, again, if you're a traveling therapist or want to be like, it does allow for that flexibility in doing things like this while maintaining some kind of income stream. And then, as you know, there are other income streams we can have as therapists, right? It's not just therapy, but
That's
yeah, I
right.
had to make a big decision too on a couple of things this year I had to snip. And I'm like,
You good?
and it was sad. It
Oh,
was hard. Things I worked really hard for, but I'm like, no, I'm not taking this into 2024. I want things that are completely in alignment that feel good, where I don't feel that resistance,
hmm.
financial, energetic, or otherwise. Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah. Thank you for coming back again. So if people want to talk to you or work with you around any of this stuff, how do they find you?
Yeah, so I can be found. So, two different accounts for those interested in my gluten-free lifestyle travel publication called BuenQamino. It's BUEN, again, a QAMIO INO. I can spell, I swear. And then my therapy account is Begin Within Today. So beginwithintoday.com or at Begin Within Today on everything else. And yeah, happy to connect with anyone and answer any questions. I have a whole section on BuenQamino that you can read. More stuff is coming out about my Panchakarma soon. So yeah, stay tuned.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Kim, thank you for creating this platform and yeah, just being an example for all the things we can be as therapists.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Traveling Therapist podcast. For show notes, links, and downloads, head over to thetravelingtherapist.com, where you'll be able to learn more about my journey, the courses I've created for you, and other exciting resources to make your dreams become a reality. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your traveling therapist friends, subscribe to the podcast, and if you love this episode, please leave a review.